Over the years at Business Day TV, CEOs from every industry have raised the issue of skills shortages in South Africa as a concern. With that in mind, we take a look tonight at attracting and keeping top talent. I'm joined in studio by David Plink, CEO of the Top Employers Institute. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you explain to us what is important to people, what keeps people happy and motivated in the workplace?
In the first place, if you look at all people, no matter which skill level, which experience level, development is the key for them. We strongly believe that everyone has the potential and the willingness to develop, and thereby offering the opportunities and the right conditions for people to develop is, in our opinion, the most important thing an employer should offer.
So salary not the most important thing?
It's a hygiene factor. It's important, absolutely. If it's not, people will leave or will complain about it, but in the end of the day, if you pay a decent salary, people will look more towards the right development opportunities, and that's in the long run more important than the salary itself.
And what are some of the mistakes that employers make that drives away talent?
Many. There's many that they make over various companies, but the things that we see most have to do with communication, not having a clear path and communicate about the path that people can expect, not explaining right what the conditions are going to be. So communication is one, and the other is to basically live up to the fact that there is a need for flexibility. The younger generation really wants to have more flexibility in terms of working hours, in terms of working from home, but also to take smaller breaks or larger breaks. Horizontal moves, vertical moves, everything should be possible, and a company should accommodate that flexibility.
So more autonomy for them as well?
Absolutely, the freedom to choose. In the companies that we research, and we currently research over 70 countries, where we have explored about 850 companies, we see that companies that offer flexibility in their offerings, that allow people to choose themselves, those companies have actually a higher attrition rate.
So these companies that attract and keep top talent, it obviously makes a difference to their bottom line. Can you give us some examples of companies who have excelled?
The simple fact is that if you keep people longer, it saves you money. Losing people is detrimental to the bottom line because you invest a lot in training, in development, in motivating them, and if people leave, that money is lost. So invariably, if you look at our in the companies that we research, we see that companies are better at keeping their people have a better bottom line. Who those are, we don't reveal necessarily because we want to keep results hidden, but you do see that the companies that are at the top of our list generally outperform the rest in terms of their retention rates.
And this is the second year that you've certified companies on the rest of the continent. What are the challenges that these companies typically face?
What we see in Africa, but also now we started this in Asia and in Latin America, we see that all these companies that join the Top Employers Africa project or other continental projects have great policies in place. They offer the right conditions for their people, and that is something you see at headquarters. The most difficult part for them, the challenge actually, is to harmonize that, to make sure that in all these different cultures, in all these different countries with different legal circumstances, all those policies are actually also followed up and implemented the right way and communicated to their people. So that harmonization is the biggest challenge across the continent.
Can you talk us through the specifics of how the certification ranks what's important to people, the areas that companies should focus on should they want to be certified?
There are various areas that we research, mostly, as said, the conditions that people create for their people, and that's around training, development, succession planning, career paths, mentorship, but also the communication on what can you expect. If you want to be promoted, which skill set do I need to possess to actually get to that position, and if I get there, what kind of salary can I expect? Even though I said the salary is not the most important thing, you do want to give clarity. So with regards to all these development areas, make sure that people know what to expect, communicate clearly, also indicate when it's not possible to have a certain benefit or a certain condition. Just be clear about it.
Great, thank you so much. That's all we have time for. Thank you to my guest. That's David Plink, CEO of the Top Employers Institute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Clive Roffey, and you're watching the Roffey Review. Well, We had an interesting week last week. Japan got the Olympics, and then driving around this morning, I was listening to the radio, and the enormous amount of problems and bitchiness that was going on the radio, complaining about Johannesburg water, Johannesburg lights, Johannesburg electricity, really everybody getting a little bit fed up. And meanwhile, the markets still fiddle around, all of them, I think, waiting for Obama to make up his mind. Is Congress going to give him the permission to go and bomb something, or is the Russian situation going to block it all off? So we're still in limbo as far as Syria is concerned, and we now have the Chinese climbing into Greece, picking up assets, while Europe dithers about whether Greece will survive or not. Interesting world we live in at the present moment. I think that's amplified by the first